What's coming is worse than recession. This statement by Robert Kiyosaki has put a lot of people in a panic, and some see it as a blessing in disguise. But why is that? How can recession be good for someone? If you want to know the answers to these questions, make sure to watch the entire video. Let's just agree on the fact that a recession is bad for everyone. People lose their jobs, companies go out of business, and inflation is everywhere. But is there a way to turn this around? Some people would answer yes to this question. So what's their secret? How do they turn such a horrendous scenario into a profitable one? It seems like a miracle on the outside. A lot of self-proclaimed finance gurus on social will try to sell some bogus advice on surviving a recession. Don't fall for that. To get through a recession, you first need to understand recession, how it happens, and how it affects every aspect of society. And here we are to answer all your questions. So make sure to give us a follow if you find our content helpful.
I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're heading for a global depression. I mean, people are depressed. The economy stays down. It's hard to come back up.
In a time when people are losing their jobs and opportunities are restricted, how can you increase your net worth? The answer is simple: a good strategy. You need a good strategy to understand the effects of a recession and how you can avoid the negative effects and make profitable decisions after a recession. All this is covered in this video. Robert Kiyosaki has put his thoughts in clear words. What's coming is worse than a recession. Kiyosaki has taken to Twitter to air his concern regarding the impending financial crisis and how it will affect the common man in America. According to him, we're already in a state of global recession. Bankruptcy, unemployment, and homelessness would soar, and the biggest stock market crash in history is yet to happen. But why is that? Kiyosaki calls it the everything bubble. It simply means that everything will fall, everything will come crashing down, and the population would suffer. The main factor behind this is printing more money to solve problems. You may ask, won't printing more money depreciate the value of the dollar? Yes, that is exactly what it does. It contributes to debt, which ultimately contributes to increased interest rates and inflation. It's not just Robert Kiyosaki who stands behind this notion. Many world leaders and financial gurus have gone on to say that global recession is only a few steps away. Using Twitter, Kiyosaki has managed to inform his followers about the upcoming situation and how to avoid it as much as possible. According to Kiyosaki, the Biden administration and the Federal Reserve are trying their best to mask the upcoming financial collapse. They're struggling to hold things together. But this is only going to harm the general masses in the end. People who have faith in the Biden administration and the Federal Reserves would be left high and dry when financial collapse ultimately happens. And no one wants that to happen. If you've made it this far, we appreciate it. Do follow us if you find this video informative, and share it with your friends. Let's get an idea of what happens during a recession. As mentioned earlier, a recession causes two major things to happen. Companies go out of business, and people lose their jobs. Besides this, it becomes harder for companies to maintain cash flow and secure loans. Businesses might have existing loans that they are now unable to pay. The stock market also falls. In an interview, Kiyosaki said that the stock market falls in 3 stages. Boom, boom, boom. People often get scared and pull out. But is it the right move? Robert Kiyosaki said that global recession can have dire consequences. In the worst case, there can be civil war inside America. In the best case, there can be another Great Depression. The situation can vary anywhere in between. Either scenario is no good, but the question remains, how can you prepare yourself for this? People who have survived the Great Depression would tell you that it was the hardest time for America. The stock market crashed in October of 1929, and the Great Depression began. The market dropped 89.2%, and it lasted for 34 months. The unemployment rate was as high as 25%, and businesses were shutting down. It was not a great time for people who managed to retain their jobs as well. Severe pay cuts were made, sometimes more than a third of the entire salary. So, if such a time is yet to approach, what should you do in the meanwhile? Don't worry, we got you covered. Before you can go on and start preparing yourself to survive the impact of the recession, you should know about the recession. Go online, read books, gather whatever resources you have, and use them to learn about the recession, its impacts, and its aftermaths. Knowledge is what will help you through. Not only will learning help you survive the recession, it will also help you to make the right decisions post-recession. Gold, silver, and bitcoins are to be invested in. Kiyosaki says that the Federal Reserve can print money to solve problems, but they cannot print gas. They can't print oil. The object of focus here is printed paper, money. Its value can vary over time, sometimes up, sometimes down, but assets are forever. Kiyosaki focused on gathering assets like precious metals, gold and silver, and cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Bitcoin plummeted recently, and people are pulling out of it. You need to understand that this is the time to invest in Bitcoin. Like precious metals, Bitcoins are also limited, so when it comes to buying Bitcoins, treat them like gold and silver. Buy it while it's down. The benefit of buying gold is that you cannot print it, unlike money. And the value of gold is somewhat unaffected by major economic events, so gold is the safest way. Another great piece of advice to follow is don't invest in liabilities. You may have enough money now to buy the house you want, the car you want, or have a vacation, but these are all liabilities. Their value will depreciate over time. Robert Kiyosaki has not failed to tell his followers that the real estate market is dwindling. So do not purchase property you don't need, rather hold on to your money. Your potential to survive the recession is greatly dependent on your adaptability. How well you can perceive the changing market and make moves accordingly will determine your survival. Take, for instance, the COVID-19 pandemic. Everyone was locked inside their house. Face-to-face business with clients was not an option for companies. So what did they do? They shifted to Zoom or Google Meets. The sooner they made the shift, the less money they lost. And the companies that couldn't make the shift lost big time. Survival of the fittest. Recession is a bad thing. Agreed. But now that you've survived the recession, what next? Businesses have shut down. People are out of jobs. Sounds miserable, but if you look through the pages of history, you'd realize that post-recession is the best time to start your new business. Economic expansion is extremely likely to follow the recession. It happened with World War II, the Vietnam War, and COVID pandemic. So don't be afraid. It is the time to take a risk and act wisely. Shutting down companies will create a huge gap in society. This gap allows newer companies to emerge, gather clientele, and expand. If you've played your cards wisely all this while, you would have enough money to start your own company. But wait, who is going to work in this company? Unbelievable unemployment rates would encourage people to grasp at whatever they can find. It's likely to make talented employees available at an affordable cost. You need to turn your idea into action. Build your company and be the person you always dreamt of being. But remember, to get there, you need to go through a recession, and that can be tough. Instead of focusing on the negative aspect of things, try and turn them into a profitable situation. But why do it alone, all by yourself? Engage with people that have similar thought processes and who engage in similar activities. be part of a community that can at least offer you emotional support in times of need. Always remember to invest in assets, not in liabilities. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, share, and comment. And if you want to see more finance-related videos, make sure to tap the subscribe button. We'll keep coming up with newer topics, so don't forget to visit our channel again.